"I don't know where he has gone," said the girl. "Nowadays he leaves in the morning and comes back only after nightfall. Surrounded by cloud and fog, he comes and goes without ever letting me know where he is. Since he has learned that father is trying to drive him away, he takes frequent precautions. That's why he comes only at night and leaves in the morning. No need to talk anymore." Pilgrim said, "Old man, take your beloved daughter to the building in front, and then you can spend all the time you want with her. Old Monkey will be here waiting for him. If the monster doesn't show up, don't blame me. But if he comes at all, I'll pull out the weeds of your troubles by the roots." With great joy, old Mr. Gao led his daughter to the front building. Exercising his magic might, Pilgrim shook his body and changed at once into the form of that girl, sitting all by herself to wait for the monster. In a little while, a gust of wind swept by, kicking up dust and stones. What a wind! At first, it was a breeze, gentle and light. Thereafter, it became gusty and strong. A light, gentle breeze that could fill the world. A strong, gusty wind that nothing else could stop. Flowers and willow snapped like shaken hemp. Trees and plants were felled like uprooted crops. It stirred up streams and seas, cowing ghosts and gods. It fractured rocks and mountains, awing heaven and earth. Flower-nibbling deer lost their homeward trail. Fruit-picking monkeys, all were gone astray. The seven-tiered pagoda crashed on Buddha's head. Flags on 8 sides damaged the temple's top. Gold beams and jade pillars were rooted up. Like flocks of swallow flew the roofing tiles. The boatman lifted his oars to make a vow, eager to have his livestock sacrificed. The local spirit abandoned his shrine. Dragon kings from 4 seas made humble bows. At sea the ship of Yak-A ran aground, while half of Great Wall's rampart was blown down. When the violent gust of wind had gone by, there appeared in midair a monster who was ugly indeed. With his black face covered with short, stubby hair, his long snout, and huge ears, he wore a cotton shirt that was neither quite green nor quite blue. A sort of spotted cotton handkerchief was tied round his head. Said Pilgrim, smiling to himself, "So, I have to do business with a thing like this. Dear Pilgrim." He neither greeted the monster, nor did he speak to him. He lay on the bed instead and pretended to be sick, moaning all the time. Unable to tell the true from the false, the monster walked into the room and, grabbing his spouse, he at once demanded a kiss. "He really wants to sport with Old Monkey," said Pilgrim, smiling to himself. Using a holding trick, he caught the long snout of that monster and gave it a sudden, violent twist, sending him crashing to the floor with a loud thud. Picking himself up, the monster supported himself on the side of the bed and said, "Sister, how is it that you seem somewhat annoyed with me today?" "Because I'm late, perhaps." "I'm not annoyed," said Pilgrim. "If not," said that monster, "why did you give me such a fall? How can you be so boorish?" said Pilgrim. "Grabbing me like that and wanting to kiss me. I don't feel very well today. Under normal conditions, I would have been up waiting for you and would have opened the door myself. You may take off your clothes and go to sleep." The fiend did not suspect anything and took off his clothes. Pilgrim jumped up and sat on the chamber pot, while the fiend climbed into bed. Groping around, he could not feel anyone and called out, "Sister, where have you gone? Please take off your clothes and go to sleep." "You go to sleep first," said Pilgrim, "for I have to wait until I've dropped my load." The fiend indeed loosened his clothes and stayed in bed. Suddenly Pilgrim gave out a sigh, saying, "My luck's pretty low." "What's bothering you?" said the monster. "What do you mean, your luck's pretty low? It's true that I have consumed quite a bit of food and drink since I entered your family, but I certainly did not take them as free meals. Look at the things I did for your family, sweeping the grounds and draining the ditches, hauling bricks and carrying tiles, building walls and pounding mortar, plowing the fields and raking the earth, planting seedlings of rice and wheat. In short, I took care of your entire estate. Now what you have on your body happens to be brocade, and what you wear as ornaments happens to be gold. You enjoy the flowers and fruits of 4 seasons, and you have fresh vegetables for the table in all 8 periods. Whatever makes you so dissatisfied that you have to sigh and lament, saying your luck's pretty low? It isn't quite as you say," said Pilgrim. "Today my parents gave me a severe scolding over the partition wall, throwing bricks and tiles into this place." "What were they scolding you for?" asked the monster. Pilgrim said, "They said that since we have become husband and wife, you are in fact a son-in-law in their family, but one who is completely without manners. A person as ugly as you is unpresentable, you can't meet your brothers-in-law, nor can you greet the other relatives. Since you come with the clouds and leave with the fog, we really don't know what family you belong to and what your true name is. In fact, you have ruined our family's reputation and defiled our legacy. That was what they rebuked me for, and that's why I'm upset. Though I am somewhat homely," said the monster. "It's no great problem if they insist on my being more handsome. We discussed these matters before when I came here, and I entered your family fully with your father's consent. Why did they bring it up again today? My family is located in the Cloudy Paths Cave of Fooling Mountain. My surname is based on my appearance. Hence I am called Ju Hog, and my official name is Ganglia Stiff Bristles. If they ever ask you again, tell them what I have told you. This monster is quite honest," said Pilgrim to himself, secretly pleased. Without torture, he has already made a plain confession. With his name and location clearly known, he will certainly be caught, regardless of what may happen. Pilgrim then said to him, "My parents are trying to get an exorcist here to arrest you. Go to sleep. Go to sleep," said the monster, laughing. "Don't mind them at all. I know as many transformations as the number of stars in the heavenly ladle, and I own a 9-pronged muckrake. Why should I fear any exorcist, monk, or Taoist priest? Even if your old man were pious enough to be able to get the monster-rooting patriarch to come down from the ninefold heaven, I could still claim to have been an old acquaintance of his. And he wouldn't dare do anything to me. But they were saying that they hoped to invite someone by the name of Sun," said Pilgrim. "The so-called great sage, equal to heaven, who caused havoc in the celestial palace 500 years ago. They were going to ask him to come catch you." When the monster heard this name, he became rather alarmed. "If that's true," he said, "I'm leaving. We can't live as a couple anymore." "Why do you have to leave so suddenly?" asked Pilgrim. "You may not know," said the monster, "that Ban Horseplague, who caused such turmoil in heaven, has some real abilities. I fear that I am no match for him, and losing my reputation is not my form." When he had finished speaking, he slipped on his clothes, opened the door, and walked right out. Pilgrim grabbed him, and with one wipe of his own face he assumed his original form, shouting, "Monster, where do you think you're going? Take a good look and see who I am." The monster turned around and saw the protruding teeth, the gaping mouth, the fiery eyes, the golden pupils, the pointed head, and the hairy face of Pilgrim, virtually a living thunder god. He was so horrified that his hands became numb and his feet grew weak. With a loud ripping sound, he tore open his shirt and broke free of Pilgrim's clutch by changing into a violent wind. Pilgrim rushed forward and struck mightily at the wind with his iron rod. The monster at once transformed himself into myriad shafts of flaming light and fled toward his own mountain. Mounting the clouds, Pilgrim pursued him, crying, "Where are you running to? If you ascend to heaven, I'll chase you to the palace of the Polestar, and if you go down into the earth, I'll follow you into the heart of hell." Good heavens! We do not know where the chase took them to, or what was the outcome of the fight. Let's listen to the explanation in the next chapter.